Dark and delusional, dark and delusional, dark and delusional, dark and delusional. Hello, welcome to another episode of Dark and Delusional. We have no guests tonight, but being the nature of the show, we are called Dark and Delusional. It would be kind of silly if we didn't cover the topics of dark and delusional. So, on tonight's episode, we're going to start with dark. Just think about that word. What does the word darkness spark in your head? I'm sure it sparks a variety of things. I'm sure you think of the dark as in the nighttime. I'm sure you think of the dark as in, oh boy, that guy's really dark. He's dressed in a bunch of emo attire and he just looks really dark. You probably also associate it with negative things overall. Because darkness is one of these fringe topics that really people go not talking about it throughout their entire life. Because it's it's negative. It's not a fun thing to talk about most of the time. And, people don't want to live their lives that way. But I also feel darkness is a core part of being human. In order to understand your own humanity, you might have to understand the darkness that's within you. So, let's start by defining darkness, because I think we all can agree that there are, different types of darkness. For example, we have physical darkness. What is physically dark? And the truth is, everything in the universe is physically dark. The only thing that lights up this world and all the other worlds that exist in these solar systems and universes are stars. Stars are the only thing that produce light. I mean, we produce artificial light, and sure, some organisms might have bioluminescence, but that's all possible due to the fact that we've had light on this earth to evolve to the point where we can make those lights and those organisms can make their own. Lack of light is a very scary thing for most organisms, especially organisms like human beings that aren't naturally attuned to hunt and, be a part of the darkness. Every day ends and night begins, and that happens without fail every single day from today, tomorrow, and when you die. You will see the light every day and you will see the dark every day. And regardless if it's day or night, you could fall asleep and still go see the darkness. So it's always there. In a physical way, it's more true to who we are than actual light is. The light just illuminates the darkness, but we are all from the dark, spawned from the dark. Before this world and before the universes and before the solar systems even existed, what do you think was out there? I mean, what is majority of space? It's a big, empty void of darkness. And that is what everything sits in currently. The only thing that lights it up is stars, but before there were stars, it was just a big black empty full of nothing. And that is from where everything physical came. But then we can look at a different aspect of darkness. We're going to look inside your own brain. How many thoughts do you have that you don't talk to other people about? How many times does your brain wander to a dark subject? How many times does your brain ponder that last gory horror movie you saw, or that last horrid news article that you happened to catch while you were just trying to drink some coffee and scrolling through your phone? Yes, the darkness exists inside your head too, and is it too different from the physical darkness we were just talking about? Human nature is rooted in the darkness. It's written all over us. I mean, just look at us. We think darkly. Our emotions too are dark. We are the only being, from what I understand, we humans have such a capacity to inflict self-doubt and self-hatred into ourselves. What other species do you think does that? What other species on this planet do you think beats themselves up over their looks or their ego or their body? None. These are all constructs of our own human existence. We do this to ourselves. That darkness is predetermined and pre-programmed in us. Why? It's hard to say, but it is there. Emotionally speaking, we all experience a lot of negative emotions, and negative emotions I'm going to count as dark emotions here. For example, do you think fear as an emotion, if you had to paint it in a light, would you paint it in a bright light or would you paint it with lack of light? Fear is a dark emotion. Hatred, anger is also a dark, negative, destructive emotion, but in a different way from fear. Fear is a drive to keep us alive, while anger Anger is just being frustrated with the circumstances, and some people handle it better than others. Another dark emotion would be melancholy, sadness. Very human emotion. Probably the most relatable emotion upon all of us on this world. Because you know what? Everybody's going to have something fucked up that happens to them, and it's going to make them sad. So we should relate more, because everyone's sad. It's time to move on from, hating each other and being afraid of each other, but we can't. These dark emotions are always present in us. Maybe the best way is just to recognize them, because I don't think they're ever going away, but we do always control our actions and what we do with our emotions or don't do with our emotions. Emotions and mentality tend to go hand in hand. So a dark emotion tends to reflect a dark mentality state. Part of our experience is being born, and humans are created in the dark. Probably most likely created in the dark, but I'm mostly talking about in the womb. We are made in a dark void, and we are growing this whole time, and we don't cry until we wake up and see the light. What does that have to tell you about your existence? And it's not about being depressing, it's just reiterating this fact that humans are predetermined to be exposed to this thing we call darkness. Those with great capacity for good also have great capacity for evil. That is because capacity is just capacity. Light and darkness, they're not even two sides of the same coin. They're just two different paths you can choose in your life and what to do. Either way, both the light and darkness is present within a human being. Death. Death is a dark subject. I think we can all agree about that. It's something that most people are not looking forward to, because all we've known is life and light. This concept, this idea, because to us it's just an idea, because most of us have not experienced dying. We are so intrigued with death. From the moment that we learn that things die, the moment that we know we are gonna die. And it's just this dark fascination, because honestly, death is grim. Dead bodies are rough to look at. Funerals suck. Burying dead loved ones just sucks. Totally sucks. But here we are, still living, left behind to ponder the dead. It is, now that we're on the subject of death, I think it's a good time to bring religion into this, because religion has a lot to do with darkness, but perhaps not in the way you think it does. You see, death is one of those subjects that religions try to answer. And religions are really geared towards answering these dark questions that we ask ourselves. Like, what happens after death? Or, what path should I live in my life? Or, is it really right for me to do this versus this? This is why religions exist. All religions propose a path that you could walk that would really put you in the right, put you in the light, and steer you away from this darkness, steer you away from this death, steer you away from these dark thoughts and these dark things that exist all around us. But I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom here, Every negative force in this world has to have a positive one. That's how balance is achieved. And that act of those forces, of this light and dark, of that positivity and negativity, interfering with each other, interacting with each other, that process is chaos. Chaos, to me, is nothing more than the process of equalization. The only positive thing I can really, out of everything, all concepts that the word darkness could encompass here, I do see some positivity in it. Because, darkness gives us that perception. It gives us that perspective that, we wouldn't have anything to compare good things to if we never had bad ones. We would never know what love is if we didn't know what hate is. If we had no opposite to foster our understanding, we would never have that understanding. And I think that's the purpose that darkness serves in our human experience. But where did the darkness come from? What is the origin of darkness? And I think the origin of darkness is that it is the origin. Darkness has always been there, just like how that great void of space was there before the Big Bang or whatever that made all the stars and universes and whatnot. Darkness has always existed, and it always will. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. We just get a lot of dark aspects in our human experience, because we're tied to mortal bodies and suffer a lot. So, yeah. Darkness is, if you think about it, most creation myths go like this, and I'm including Christianity and, a whole bunch of others in this. It goes like this. There was nothing, and then God said, "Let there be light." And then there was light. So before there was light, there was, you guessed it, darkness. It's been a concept, a motif that humanity has been battling its entire existence. Even when our biggest fear was the literal darkness, when we were caveman entrepreneurs trying to survive without light when predators were tuned to the darkness. It's probably why we're still afraid of the dark. I think it'd be an embarrassing statistic to take and see how many people actually sleep with a nightlight still, because we're pre-programmed to realize the dark and naturally be wary of it. But even so, even if we're predetermined to it, why does darkness play such a big part in our lives? Why do these negative emotions, these negative thoughts, this negative world, why does it play such a big part into our existence? I think the answer to this is consumption. We are consumers, and humans are consumers on the highest of levels. We consume, and in order to consume, you have to kill. We kill animals, we kill plants, we kill mushrooms, we eat them to sustain our own life. We have never left the food chain, and it is this act of consumption why we can never be free from the darkness, because so long as we take to live, the darkness, it'll always be there. Never-ending cycle. We will always take from something to, keep ourselves alive. It's just natural instinct. It probably isn't a bad thing, and that's gotta be what you gotta do when you're living a life like we do, but I don't think you'll ever escape these concepts of darkness as we know them, so long as we're consuming things in a physical body. As for humankind, ask yourself this. Do you think humanity, as of right now, here in early March of 2025, is in a good place? Do you think humanity is in a light place? Or do you think it's in a dark place? Or maybe somewhere in between? I'll give you a second to think about it. Okay, you thought about it. What's your answer? It's probably a dark place, isn't it? Humanity has pretty much always been in a dark place, at least as long as human history has persisted. But I think currently, we're in a horrible place. So many people are in a horrible place in their lives. So much crazy shit is happening. Crazy shit has always been happening around the world, but I feel like it's even more noticeable. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It goes more noticed now that the internet connects us to everybody else around the world. We get to share this darkness, and everybody gets to see it for themselves and judge it for how they will. Maybe they don't even agree it's a dark thing. For example, man, if you want to lose faith in humanity real fucking quick, go on the dark web, go to any random ass chat room on there, and don't even participate. Just go in there and read what kind of bullshit people are putting onto those chat logs. It's sick. A lot of people, the whole internet, anonymous internet thing, and people being able to speak their true dark thoughts on the web anonymously, talking in ways that they would never talk to other people in real life, is frankly sickening. You have people asking, can I get a link to go see someone get murdered, and among more horrible things that, you can only imagine, right? It's pretty sick. It is sick. You know what? On second thought, don't go there. Don't go do that. I did that for you guys. A lot of dark people go to dark places to talk about dark things, and the internet has become the perfect place for that. Is there salvation for us? Can we ever get past that? I don't know. You should never have human society. It's just so broken. When you have slave trade and sex trade and any other kind of trade in between that does nothing to bring benefit to anybody's lives besides making money for a scumbag, I think humanity's in a very dark place, because these things go on every single day, and if you got enough Bitcoin, you can go fucking buy whatever you want. Really sad if you ask me. Well, those are my quick little podcast about darkness. It wasn't meant to be a long thing. It was just meant to maybe get you thinking. It's not all a bad thing, and it's about how you act in life. It's about what you do. Everybody has bad, negative thoughts. Everybody has negative emotions, but you know what? Most y'all do the right thing and go about living a normal life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with recognizing darkness in all its forms, all its luster, or lackluster. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. Short and sweet. Don't subscribe. We don't care. Nightlight on, and don't let the boogeyman get you. You never know what kind of things go bump in the night. Good night, everybody. Take it easy.